So apparently, your masculinity can be judged based off of you wearing nail polish, especially wearing nail polish on the cover of one of the most famous football video games in history, Madden. Today we'll be talking about Caleb Williams and him being on the cover of Madden and whether or not, it's appropriate to wear nail polish and how it affects the children. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so beautiful, so lovely. People, I'd like to welcome to you.
Welcome to Spit Talk with Talia. And today the subject is Caleb Williams and him being on the cover of Madden 27. I'm not really sure whether or not the game is out already, but what I do know is that he is a hot topic because he's wearing nail polish on the cover and whether it's deemed appropriate because it might be impressionable for little boys specifically. So like I was telling my husband, I feel like, okay, there's a reason why this dude had nail polish on, especially on the cover of Madden. I was like, I'm pretty sure he's just not doing it for any reason. And, there's men who are in an uproar. I feel like it's inappropriate. But I'm like, okay, well, there has to be a reason behind it. So after researching, yes, there is a reason behind him putting nail polish on. So apparently his mother is a nail tech and he's doing it in honor of her. So I'm like, okay, well, there's the reason. What is the uproar? Well, people feel like it's very impressionable for little boys to see a famous quarterback, right? Or any male for that matter, wearing nail polish. And that him being on the cover of Madden, it'll make little boys think it's okay to wear nail polish. So if Caleb Williams is wearing nail polish to honor his mother, it's like, okay, so what's the harm in that? Why is it wrong for that young man to honor his mother? And why do other men get so offended by what another man does? And especially if it's for whatever woman in his life that he's honoring. So, and I know that some platforms or just people in general have opinions that when men do things like this by wearing nail polish or whatever is they feel like that is deemed feminine, that it questions that person's masculinity. But when did we ever define that nail polish is specific to one particular gender? Now, granted, I don't ever recall people ever making such an uproar over others who have worn nail polishes, rock stars, other celebrities. And we're going to go over some of those. And I want you to let me know down in the comments whether or not when you saw this particular person, you saw that they wore nail polish, that at that time you questioned their masculinity. But before we get into that, let's go over the characteristics of masculinity. So based off of Google, the masculine qualities are a mix of traditional and evolving traits centered around strength, accountability, and purpose. While these traits vary culturally, core masculine attributes are typically categorized into action-oriented leadership, emotional stability, and foundational virtues. Action and decisiveness, stoicism and emotional control, courage and strength, accountability and integrity, assertiveness, and mastery of growth. In my opinion, I feel like those who are griping about this, are you aware of your masculinity? Right? Are you one with oneself? And if so, why are you so pressed about someone else? And not one characteristic stated anything about wearing nail polish. Now, do I understand that it is known that women are the ones that wear nail polish the most? I get that, right? But in this situation, you know for certain that he is doing it for a reason. And yet, y'all deem it appropriate to question who he is and feel like he's going to be so impressionable on someone else's child just because he's wearing nail polish on the cover of a video game. Now, I'm going to ask you this. How many little boys, right? And also remember yourself, when you were coming up, you were playing video games. How often were you looking at the cover of the game, right? Did you keep that package in your hand and just, I don't know, did you frame it? How often did you look at it? Did you ever criticize the quality of it, the graphics on it? Like, how much did you pay attention to it that you feel like someone else's child is going to be so impressionable behind it, and will think in their mind, well, you know what? Because Caleb Williams wore nail polish on the cover of a video game, that I should also wear nail polish. One's masculinity is based on who they are and how they carry themselves. And if you were paying attention, integrity was definitely one of them, right? Your persona will give off who you are, how alpha you are. And I don't think that in this scenario, based on this man honoring his mother, takes away from that. Now, the biggest critic of them all, per usual, when it comes down to stuff like this, is Boosie BadAzz. So what we're going to do, we're going to hear his thoughts and opinion, and we're going to react to that.
They're mad at me right now in the DM. They going off in my DM. Boosie, you gonna be part of the community with us? Nah, bro. I just feel like, they mad because the truth hurts, I come up under Tecmo Bowl. I never thought in a million years that I would see a Madden cover with one of the best players with his fingernails painted. A game that sold to billions of little boys. What kind of message are they sending to these little boys? I never thought in a million years I would see this. As parents, how much do they have to do for us to say, that's not right? Us daddies gotta go tell these boys that we got raising them to be men. That's wrong, son. That's for women. And not just daddies, these mothers.
Which gets me to my next point. We're not done, right? But you just said it, Boosie. Celebrities, content creators, influencers, whoever, they're not responsible to raise your kids, right? Now, you'll say, okay, well, they could potentially be a role model, this, that, and the third, or whatever. But if you are parenting your children, if you are setting certain values with your children, why do you care what the next person does, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. You're holding that responsibility. You're putting that weight on people that you don't even know. I don't know if you know this dude, but you don't even know. And you, in your opinion, you feel like because of what he decided to do is going to make a little boy want to do that. As if that little boy doesn't have parents can teach him what they think is right or wrong. We're going to get into more things that I feel like what people should be worried about. And this is one of those things that I feel like doesn't give off that much of an issue if you're truly worried about what young men see.
And not just daddies, these mothers, single mothers who raising boys to be men. You have to tell your son that's not right. Or in a couple months, he going to play in your fingernail polish. You know what I'm saying? Next is going to be lipstick on the covers, thongs. Is that enough? Man hiking a ball with a thong in his ass. Is that enough for you to tell your child that it's wrong? That is wrong. See, that's what it's going to next. Lipstick, thongs. I never thought I would see this, A game that sold to billions of little boys. You're pushing it. Half of these kids, they're so young, they can't even think for themselves too much. Some of them can, but most of them, they go by what they see.
If this is such a problem, right? And if a parent, right, the person with the money, is going to go to the store to purchase this game, right? And they notice, hey, the person on this package has fingernail polish on and it does not align with my beliefs. Guess what? You don't have to buy it at all. So then guess what? That child won't be exposed to it. As a parent, you are responsible for what your child is exposed to.
What message are they putting on these billions of little boys who buy these games? I'm just asking as a parent to the other parents, when is enough enough? To the daddies who raising men to be boys, the single mothers who on that football field at practice raising that boy to be a man. When is enough enough, man? John Madden turning over in his grave. It's a sad day for Madden.
I don't know if Boosie left this comment under EA Sports or if it was, a post that he made and deleted. I'm not really sure. But Rowdy Hip Hop posted this, and this is what the comment was. It said, fingernails painted on Madden with a little angry face emoji. Young boys look up to you, bro. Shake my head. And I don't know if it's N as and then he added Caleb. This is the example you set for them. Players should grab your ass in the locker room and call you Carrie every time they see you. That's what it says. You want respect from your teammates, and your hands look like they, and it has the B word, nails at home. Shake my head. Whoever thought you would see this on a Madden cover. I feel sorry for you for these kids. Sir, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're making it seem as if everybody else gets to raise your child but you. You set the tone with what's right and wrong, right? Either your child is going to do what you're asking or what you're saying that is true. It's freaking nail polish. But if you're so concerned on what little boys are exposed to, we should be consistent, right? We should all be concerned if wearing nail polish, as a male, wearing nail polish on the cover of, I guess, a boys game, right? Let's just call it that. If we're so worried about what can be so impressionable and what can cause them to make poor decisions or inappropriate decisions in life, don't you think we need to keep that consistent, right? You are a rapper, correct? Do you set the example of a alpha male? Do you set the example of a man that kids should look up to? I'm not mad that Boosie has an opinion, right? Everybody's entitled to, right? Whatever you think is right or wrong, you're entitled to express yourself. But based on your logic, nail polish, bad for little boys. But let's get into why I feel like this is more of a selective outrage versus being consistent on how we are raising our boys and what we're exposing to our boys. Boosie's concerned about what the little boys are exposed to, right? I guess he is, a staple in the Black community, or just, an advocate for what little boys are exposed to. But Boosie has pending charges. 2026, the most recent. Now, mind you, we already know that this man has a record, but since he cares about what little boys are exposed to, he has a pending Houston assault case. Boosie was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after an altercation at a downtown Houston nightclub. Police allege he struck a security guard in the head with a glass hookah, requiring 8 staples. The case remains pending in the court system. Mm-hmm. So is this an example of what little boys should be exposed to, right? I know a lot of people who like your music and get into whatever get into your music and stuff like that, right? Kids also have access to stream. So are you setting the perfect example of how a man should be? Is it okay for a man, right, to lose control? But I do believe that, that was one of the characteristics of being masculine, is being able to control oneself. So you're saying, based on your logic, this can also be impressionable to little boys, right? What are we talking about? Folks be worried about the wrong thing. Listen, sir, worried about what's happening to you and what kind of example you're setting, right? Nail polish in comparison to hitting someone upside the head with a hookah, not the same. Not the same, not the same, not the same. So if I had to choose what I would want my son being exposed to, it wouldn't be you. Talk about something else. Let's get back to this selective outrage and how men wearing nail polish isn't groundbreaking, right? Caleb Williams isn't the first man to wear nail polish. There's a history of rock stars who wear nail polish, right? There are also Black artists, celebrities in general, males that wear nail polish or have worn nail polish. For starters, A$AP Rocky, Tyler the Creator, Johnny Depp. Who doesn't love that man? Steven Tyler, Post Malone. Like, I'm not a Post Malone. He was just a person that I found online. But Post Malone, Ozzy freaking Osbourne, Kiss wore makeup, right? Did anyone ever question their masculinity? What are we talking about? Because it was on a cover of something, which really doesn't make a difference. When it comes down to like Steven Tyler and Ozzy Osbourne or whatever, these are legends. They wore it. They had children. Who's questioned them? A$AP Rocky. He's with Rihanna. What are we talking about? The outrage be so selective. I don't know what it is about Caleb Williams that has people so tight, and there's a lot of people who agreed with you, which is crazy to me. I get where people are going when it comes down to certain things, and for the men, not dismissing your worry about what young men are exposed to. What's the word I'm looking for? Or feeling like, I want to say like, I guess the masculine energy is disappearing. But if we're so worried about what the young men are exposed to, what are the men in their lives doing? Right? I don't think single mothers are naturally telling their little boys or okaying them to use nail polish, right? They may not make it a big deal. It may not be in conversation about like, okay, don't wear, if I have nail polish, right? Let me tell my son, you can't use this. I have a son. My son is 24, or he'll be 24. There's not one moment out of his 24 years, right? And especially when he was a child, I stopped to tell him, don't touch my nail polish. And he was never curious, but it isn't a part of, at least I don't think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's not a part of someone's natural conversation to tell their kids, hey, do not wear makeup. If you're a boy, do not wear makeup. Do not wear. Who talks like that? That isn't one of those things that will make or break a person, right? Wearing nail polish is not going to determine what kind of human being you're going to be. So let's stop acting like men wearing nail polish in entertainment is a new thing. It has existed for decades, and no one has made a big deal until now. And it's like, why? Well, why? Why? But it goes back to that question. Who should be raising your boys? Is it celebrities? Is it athletes? Is it rappers? Or is it their freaking parents? Boosie, let me know. Who raised your kid? And also, too, if I'm mistaken, someone let me know. But don't you have a child who is a part of the LGBTQIA community? And if so, do you blame yourself for that? What was your child exposed to? Regardless of what we instill in our children, They're going to grow up one day, right? They're going to grow up one day and decide what is right and wrong for their lives. There's nothing none of us can really do, because I'm pretty sure if you had a parent, right? Someone raised you, never had the goal for you to go to jail as often as you went. And somehow you have managed to go there a lot. I need people to stop before they start posting certain things and talking about certain things. Like, do some self-reflection. I'm not saying Boosie's a bad person, right? Everybody has a past. Well, he has a recent situation, but everybody has a past and everybody's entitled to change. But you're really criticizing this dude over some freaking nail polish. And he's honoring his mother. My goodness. And to those who are still raising children, if you're so concerned about what your children are exposed to, take the tablets, take the cell phones, minimize TV time if you're afraid they're going to come across certain things that they shouldn't. Monitor their friends. Do all the things that parents should do if you're worried about things like this, right? It's not the responsibility of anyone but you. This is not a big deal. This is not a big deal. I appreciate what that man is doing, especially when he's honoring his mom. He's giving his mom her flowers while she's here. He is one with oneself. Why should he care about what we all think? If the men in our community care so much about our little boys, my suggestion to you is to be active. They don't have to be your kids, right? Even if you don't have kids, if you feel like there's something missing or the boys are missing something, right? Instead of pointing the finger at who's responsible for what, participate. Volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club. Create a group for young men. Do something if you feel like something's happening, right? I think Boosie does get involved with young men, but this is for all the other commentators who have a problem with it. Be present. Stop looking towards what another man is doing and what are you doing? How are you making a difference? That man is in the NFL, supporting whoever he needs to support and honoring whoever he needs to honor. What are you doing? All right, guys, that's all I got to say on that. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Let me know if you find the cover of Madden with Caleb Williams wearing nail polish is offensive to you. Do you feel like it's corrupting the young men of this era, just in general? Or whether or not you don't think that there's a big issue. Just want to hear your thoughts. And also don't forget to hit the subscribe button, share, and comment. And yeah, I will catch you all in the next one. That's enough spit talking today. I got annoyed. Have a great one. See you next time. Bye.
That's what I'm talking about. I ain't trying to brag.